A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with LinkedIn Sales Navigator, the first deep sales platform. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That is linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today.
Ask me, ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them, we'll read them, then we'll give you answers. You know it, I've got it. I've got the answer, you ask me. I'll tell you anything.
This is such a bad way to get into our recording. I am sick in what is clearly a 19th century invalid hospital. The house that we're in has these horrible curtains, and I wanted to do it with like all these beautiful shrubs and greenery behind me. We need to balance this color. I look ill. I look tubercled.
You can balance your own color. I'll do what I can, but it's part of the charm.
Is it? People are going to see this like clip independent and they're going to be like, she couldn't even put on makeup. I got home very late, very early this morning from Montreal. I played a cancer support center gig in Indiana and the crowd was en fuego. And then I flew right to Montreal and we did this massive block party with, I don't know, 10,000 people. And anyway, I'm not going to apologize for the way that I look because I am sick, but I am sorry that it's not better and that I didn't balance it.
But also, please remember, they are only seeing 30 to 60 seconds. For 60 minutes of this episode, they're just hearing you. You can apologize in your caption.
We live in a world of hot takes and non-contextualized clips. So people are going to be like, oh no, she's sick. This was her last podcast recording. Because she ate so much lead-based paint. I look maudlin, but we're here for you and we're here for the show.
If you knew if the doctor was like, Iliza, you have 6 months.
No, I don't want
to
to talk about this.
Would you be like, I have to record and ask Iliza anything and tell the people?
No, I don't even think I would say goodbye.
No,
I would just.
You wouldn't. No.
I would just be like, goodbye. I would
disappear.
just be like, goodbye. No.
Yeah.
I would be so upset about all this. And I think you would very quickly put into perspective, like just how little social media and public opinion means when people don't need to approve for you to die. You can just like do it on your own. I wouldn't want to share it with anyone.
Yeah.
Because there's no net positive. And all the things where people are like, I'm doing this to share my journey. It's like, no, you're not. You're doing it for attention. Very few people do it for altruistic reasons. If you were dying, I don't think I'd want people, wouldn't want their comments. I wouldn't want their energy. But I'm alive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm alive. I just look sick. So from my deathbed, my last will and testament is giving advice to a 23-year-old bride from Sioux Falls. All right, let's get to Fight Me.
Okay, so I'm hiking with my dogs and we're on a trail where, yes, technically dogs should be on leash, but there is literally nobody there. It's a weekday. The sun is shining. This is just north of San Francisco. The sun doesn't shine very often here. So gorgeous day, having the best time. The dogs are having the time of their lives. And this absolute dickhead comes jogging by me and he pulls out his phone and he starts filming me. And he said, you need to leash your dogs. You don't know how fragile this ecosystem is. Do your research. Stop being so selfish, you piece of shit. And I was dumbfounded. And I just smiled and gave him the thumbs up. And I just think the dogs are walking on the trail so nicely next to me, not hurting anyone or anything. And this guy is just clearly just angry at the world. And technically, yes, the dogs should have been on leash, but they weren't harming anyone or anything. And I think that is totally fine. Dogs should be able to live their best lives as well. Fight me.
Erin, I'm going to have to fight you.
We're fighting.
I'm going to have to fight you. Was he overly aggressive? For sure. However, there is almost no way to correct someone in public when they're already doing something wrong and like might be a little defensive, but like there's no way to. I have tried when someone's thrown a cigarette in the street. I've tried when people don't pick up their poop. People will not take feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Dog leash laws are there for so many reasons. And I get that you're like, he's just a sweet dog. No one is around. You can't control what's about to come down that path. If everybody decided it was okay because I don't see anyone, I can unleash my dog. Then the second you turn and you run into someone else whose dog is unleashed, those dogs start fighting. They run away. They run off the path. They trample over, like he said, some delicate flora. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And also, your dog could go and take a dump somewhere. And then it's like, if every dog did that, then there'd be an issue. Also, the guy ran by. Your dog could have, I know you think your dog is sweet and they might be sweet, could get triggered, could get in the guy's way. It's not about your dogs and how great they are. It's all of the other things around you, keeping your dog safe as well as other people and things safe. What if there's a bunny that came running out of that park and your dog chased it? There could be coyotes there. Like, you just don't know. And so while I appreciate he was aggressive and filming you he wasn't going to do anything with it. And people would probably be like, you're a man, you're scaring her. He didn't have to do it that way. Counterpoint, this guy is on this trail all the time. And people like you, it's really hard to just do an Australian accent for like you, do that. And in the past, someone else could have done something and you just happened to get him that day. But yeah. I think now you will be embarrassed out of ever doing it again. And so in a way, he worked. It did it. He did his job.
And I will say, I think part of it is, look, your dogs might be fine, but you have your dog off leash. Someone else is like, well, her dog's off leash, so my dog could be off leash. It's just a chain reaction. You got to keep them leashed.
But I get it. I think I'm special, and I seldom think rules apply to me. And then something happens, and I'm like, oh, that's why that rule was there. Oh, that's why you can't move about the cabin during takeoff.
All your rules are about planes.
We're back, baby.
We're back in touring mode.
I think I'm sick from this flight I took from LaGuardia, Indiana to LaGuardia. It was so fucking cold. And I didn't say anything because in the past, when you're like, excuse me, I'm like shivering. They're like, well, there's nothing we can do. And then I got off the plane. She's like, I'm sorry it was so cold. I'm like, that's cool. I'm sick now. So you can burn.
I was so cold on the plane, and the man next to me was like, don't ask for a blanket. They're filthy. So I didn't. But aren't they just new in a package? Could I have gotten a blanket?
I don't think they have blankets anymore.
Do they not?
And where you sit. I don't think so. I mean,
I was in Comfort Plus somehow.
Comfort Plus sounds like
Delta.
where we put like ailing people.
It's one above
Comfort
steerage. Plus. I wasn't in with those suitcases.
I will tell you, as someone who only flies first class, I don't care if that makes you guys mad. You would not be mad at a man who says they fly first class. I seldom see a blanket option unless it's a cross-country flight. So
I remember like 10 years ago, I would always take the blanket and then I would give it to Gracie. So I had like 5 of those little thin red Delta blankets that were like made of tissue paper.
That's why they stopped giving away, because people like you were hoarding them.
No, I was using it. Was one, I'd use it and then I'd take it home with me. I wouldn't just leave it on my seat.
That's right. You're hoarding them. You're taking them. They wash them.
They reuse those?
They wash them, right? I hope.
That wouldn't survive a single cycle in a washing machine.
Does anyone? It is a lint blanket. It's actually just the lint from the track that they put a Delta, they brand a Delta logo into.
I once heard a comedian say that it was either Delta or United, that they unrolled their blanket, they unraveled it, a little piece of poop fell out. And I've never stopped thinking about that.
She's like, and they're like, and I know it's poop because I sniffed it and I tasted it. Fun traveler hack. I always keep an extra pair of warm socks in my carry-on because I take my shoes off and I scrunch up when I travel so I don't have my feet on the seat, and I always put on extra socks. And that's also why I keep my carry-on with me in case I need to get another shirt out to combat the fucking Arctic tundra That is my in-flight temperature. Okay.
It's tough out there.
Well, you've been fought. You've been fought. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what Australians do? Yeah.
Yeah, wallaby style. Yeah. So stupid. So stupid. Okay. Fall has fallen. Winter is on its way. The days are shorter. But just because, well, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Iliza50 and use code Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Iliza50 at factormeals.com/Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling, and nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Iliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Iliza for 25% off. Limited time only, exclusions apply. See site for details. So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. You know, like I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, you know, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Iliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Iliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Iliza.
Hi, Iliza and fam. I love your podcast. It's the only other podcast I listen to religiously besides the Joe Rogan Experience. In fact, I saw you on his a few years ago, and that's how I started following you. All right. I have a question.
Yeah, finally, it worked. All of that, all those hate messages were worth it. You better stick with me.
We got one. I have a question I don't think has been asked before. I hope you read it on air so you can make my day and I can tell everyone about it. I am a 43-year-old female married to a 56-year-old male for 11 years. We recently got an offer to buy tickets to watch the finals of the Olympic wrestling matches in Paris. My husband was a college wrestler, and we both do jiu-jitsu, which involves wrestling takedowns, so it's a sport we enjoy watching. It's for the final matches, so it will be the best of the best out there. The tickets were $350 each, and there were 3 tickets available. He asked if I wanted to go, and I said, sure. He then mentioned getting the third ticket for a mutual friend of ours that we trained jujitsu with, who was also a wrestler. I was like, okay, if he wants to come join us, that's fine. I thought that he meant we can offer to buy it for him and then have him pay us back.
Pay us back. Uh-oh.
My husband then tells me that he asked our wrestler friend if he was free that day and if he was interested in going to the matches. Of course, our friend said yes. My husband told him the ticket was $5. I asked him, are we paying for his ticket? My husband said yes. We don't live paycheck to paycheck, but we are not wealthy people. I would say middle class, and there are lots we can do with an extra $350. We do have the extra money to buy our friend his ticket, but I find this slightly odd, and it's bugging the hell out of me. I can understand if this was his best friend, but I would classify him as just a good friend and not one you would spend $350 on. I would spend that amount on a BFF, but not just any old friend. But my husband knows he's a huge wrestling fan and that his friend probably can't afford to go if we didn't pay. My husband does not spend a lot of money, so I get it. He should be able to do this if he chooses. However, we're married, so it is our money. I know I shouldn't let it bother me this much because he's doing a very nice thing, giving our friend a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see the highest level of a sport he loves. Trying really hard to let it go and just let my husband be generous, but having a hard time processing this and would appreciate your feedback. For context, I consider myself an extremely generous person. We're out with friends. I'm happy to pay for rounds of drinks.
For context, I'm the best.
I love that. And I am not tight with my money when we're socializing. I'm also type to buy someone a gift that's more expensive if I know they will love it. That makes me happy.
Well, then,
if the ticket had been up to around $100, it probably would have been easier for me to accept, but $350 is no chump change. Thoughts, please? Thanks.
Do these people live in Paris?
Well,
how are they getting there?
Hold on. I'm getting to that. Thanks.
Oh my God.
AI. This is my Japanese middle name and it means love. P.S. We are a military family currently stationed in Germany. That's why going to the Paris Olympics isn't really a trek for us. We're only 6 hours away. But we're moving to Washington in September. If I can find dog sitter and someone to go with me, I'm coming to watch you in Spokane in November. You don't need someone to go with you. Just come.
You don't need a dog sitter. Bring that dog. Listen to me. I'm saying bring it. Who knows what the slap a service dog thing on the dog and come along. On leash, please.
On a leash.
Your issue is that your husband didn't discuss it with you. That's it. Your husband, and you're saying, people write into this podcast and they're always like, and I'm the first one to let things go, but I'm not. If you are that person, then great, be that person. It is a lot of money. $350 is a lot of money, but you said your husband doesn't spend money. So perhaps aggregate, this is what he would have if he was a person who spent money. In the grand scheme of things, it is unfortunately not that much money. Your issue is that he didn't discuss it with you and it's not inexpensive. So that's the issue. So I think that's the part you want to get some clarity on. But even if you do discuss it, what you want to make sure is that he doesn't make this a habit. And it doesn't sound like he has or will make that a habit. You do deserve to be heard. And I think what you're looking for is him to be like, you're right, I should have discussed it with you. I'm sorry. And it is a nice thing to do. And it is going to be nice to go together. There's nothing to be done. The ticket's been taken. You can't retroactively ask him for the money. It's happening. So at the very least, because the relationship that matters at the end is the one between you and your husband, say to him, I just would have liked to have been included in this decision. Mm-hmm. And I think he'll hear that.
Yeah.
That's all. It's more simple, but the longer you let it sit, the more you're going to attach it to other mistakes he makes. And then you're going to have a big blowout. And he's going to be like, what is this about? A rational person would understand. I mean, I don't love that he made that decision, but he was trying to be magnanimous and do something sweet. And so let him do it. But be like, all right, well, next time we go out to dinner, it's on you. It sucks because it is your money. So it's not like your husband's wealthy and you're like, well, I'm keeping tabs and you can buy me a watch. All that you can do now is have a discussion with him about how it made you feel. That's it.
Yeah.
But do it now. I don't know if the jiu-jitsu trials already happened, but do it now. That way you can enjoy this day and not secretly hate that friend.
Right. The friend has no idea that this is even happening. How would you feel? I would feel weird if I was the friend and I was told it was $5 and my friend secretly spent $350 on me and didn't tell me.
Yeah, it's weird. Maybe they're sleeping together. You can never let that man know that you did that because men get so weird about gifts, especially from other men. So I think your husband in, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. In trying to do something nice, solid for a buddy, accidentally made a romantic gesture to this man. So just make sure. And also, you might want to say that to your husband. Be like, how do you think Carl would feel if he knew that you spent like almost $400 on him?
I would rather you say, we bought these tickets, would love for you to just come. You don't need to pay me back, rather than find out that you thought I couldn't afford it and you were hiding it from me.
Also, is this guy an idiot? In what world are they $5?
$5
In what world
for
is
the Olympics?
Even to one, people don't watch as much. Like gymnastics, I get being expensive, but no, I'm just kidding. That guy's gullible. And also, you're going to be upset when you get there and you're like, let's go get hot dogs and popcorn. And he's like, oh, cool. Do you guys want to split it? And you're going to be like, motherfucker, I bought you this ticket. I could have had acrylic nails in red, white, and blue on my toes and feet and my third hand. Why am I shit?
Okay, after last week...
maybe just eat, maybe pack some snacks, eat on the train. Okay.
No, eat a big hot dog. In last week's episode, you floated the idea of doing a confessional, which I said I didn't want because I didn't want people to be weird. But someone has sent us a confessional anyway that I will read to you.
Okay, well, we need to get a song together, Scott. I was thinking we could do like a Catholic mass organ, but I don't want people to feel bad. So maybe we could just do like a Dracula organ.
No, what about, do you watch Salt Lake City Housewives?
What do you think, Emily? Like, what the fuck do you think?
The interstitial music is very like weirdly religious, but also interstitial music where they just show city shots. So if we can just get something like that. Scott, you watch it, right? Housewives, Salt Lake City.
I usually only watch Real Housewives of East Lansing, Michigan, but I dabble in Salt Lake City.
I'm telling you, Dracula organ music.
Okay. Hello, all. Listening to the most recent episode, I realized I needed to share a secret.
Can we license Usher's Confessions Part 1?
Can you sing it really off key?
Yeah.
There you go.
Magic on the sand.
Hello, all. Listening to the most recent episode, I realized I needed to share a secret. When I was in high school, I was at home hanging out at my parents' house with my boyfriend at the time. She has a confession.
Okay.
While boyfriend got up to use the restroom, I felt a gas pain and let one rip. In the Inland Empire summer heat, I decided to wear a dress with no shorts or panties on underneath. This was in high school, at home, at your parents' house with her boyfriend.
Stop. No one is so hot they don't wear underwear. You're just horny.
Suddenly and out of my...
Check this out.
Suddenly and out of my control, I felt a shark come out.
Oh,
Apparently,
no.
I was asked to couch and my mom's couch cover caught the shark. Mortified, I had just enough time to rip the cover off, find my mom, and tell her not to ask any questions or open up the cover until boyfriend left for the day. We still laugh about it to this day, and every time I'm in a dress, my mom asks if I'm wearing panties. Ashamed no more. Melissa.
It's so good that you're so healthy about it. I would have a really hard time having to hear my mom ask me about panties.
Ugh.
Like, just hearing that word by itself is like, and then your mom saying it just, oh. So, but that's the prison you created when you shit yourself on a couch.
You should have just been wearing underwear.
Yeah,
Why was
your lesson.
right? Because your dress should have caught the shark. Your dress was up. You were pressing your bare ass to your parents' couch.
Yeah, dude.
You were making a lot of bad choices. That's the confession. The shart is less bad.
No, the confession is I was hoping to fuck my boyfriend on my parents' couch, and I thought it would be really hot if I wasn't wearing any underwear. And then my Chick-fil-A double deluxe order went right through me and returned to the liquid form it started as. I shit myself.
Oh.
Turns out drinking 8 Frosties on a hot day doesn't hydrate you. So gross.
So are you glad that...
Do I have to... So if it's a confession, do I have to do 3 Hail Marys and buy a 6-pack of Hanes?
Are you absolving them? I'm not.
Nomine, doggy day, doggy door. You are absolved. She seemed pretty like she'd forgiven herself.
And her mom forgave her, which pretty nice of her since it sounds like she had to clean the shit on couch cover.
You throw it in the washing machine.
I peed on a couch once, so things happen.
Oh, really?
As a child. I didn't want to get up from reading my Goosebumps book.
I'm sorry you got turned on and peed yourself. I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Fear Street. Those were like kind of horny
all
books.
the Christopher Pike books were like the horny ones with the vampires and stuff.
Was that Fear Street?
No, that Fear Street though was like the older. His like these are my
Fear Street
Goosebumps
was
for
R.L.
older kids.
Stine's.
R.L. Stine's for older
R.L.
kids.
Stine's
Yeah.
YA, like not illicit, but like he cupped her right buttocks as they planted a kiss. But then the murderer wasn't wearing any panties.
Hi, Liza and Emily. I'm not a known you from the beginning fan. I found y'all on an ad on Crime Junkie 2 months ago and have been binge listening every day at work since.
I can't believe that those
It's
work. That's
working.
awesome.
See?
I was just shitting on those ads the other day. Not Crime Junkie specifically, but like the swapping.
ads.
I was like, what's this doing? People just fast phoning. That's great. That's great that you listen. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the wolf herd. You know how wolves travel in herds?
You guys are so fun to listen to, especially since my job is dead silent all the time. So your banter makes my day so much better. Okay, time for the question. My name is Austin, an 18-year-old female from Texas dating my boyfriend, Jason, 20-year-old male. We started dating almost 1 year ago. And at first, his mom was nice, but as time has gone on, she slowly started to build up a resentment towards me. This is the toxic mommy's boy relationship we all hate, and I didn't realize till about 3 months in. She's just rude and makes it a point to have no relationship with me, which is fine, except when I don't visit, then she bitches about how I never go over there. And when I do, she's rude. His parents split when he was 10, and they had shared custody, so he did get to spend time with his dad growing up. I've slowly realized that he entirely blames his divorce on his dad and resents him for it. His dad repeatedly calls and texts, asking for him to go over and hang out. My boyfriend always makes some excuse. Recently, we've been getting into arguments about how immature he's been acting in some areas, and every time he proceeds to blame it on, quote, the lack of a father figure in his life.
Oy. Oh, God.
His dad was in his life and was involved in his life as much as he could be. And this really hurts because my dad was abusive and my mom had to split. And we really didn't have a father figure in my life for years until my stepdad came into our lives. And my bio dad was actually absent. My small town has a barbecue joint where we always go to hang out, and we've become friends with the owner. This is how I found out Jason's mom had actually cheated on his dad, and that was the cause of the divorce. The owner of the building is the one who was involved in the affair, so it is legit. Jason does not know this and continues to resent his father for the divorce. And his dad has every right to tell him about the reason behind it and never did because he didn't want to ruin how Jason views his mom, I'm assuming. His mom is an absolute bitch, and his dad is the sweetest man you've ever met. Is it wrong if I tell my boyfriend his mom was having the affair and that's why they divorced, so he doesn't have this built-up resentment towards his dad? It feels wrong, but every time I talk to his mom, I want more and more and more. It's not fair that he treats his dad this way. I feel like it could be different if he knows the truth. Sorry.
Wait, I'm sorry. Oh my God, this is so huge. Wait a minute.
Okay.
What's her name?
Austin. So
Roberta?
Thank you for your help, Austin.
Listen. I'm sorry. I want to clarify something.
Okay.
You eat at a barbecue joint, and the woman, and the guy who owns it is the one that slept with the mom. How did you come by this information? Did the owner of the barbecue restaurant like walk over and he's like, here's that side of slaw. By the way, I fucked your boyfriend's mom. It was all my fault. This comes with the ribs.
No, okay. So the details we are given, hanging out at the spot, have become friends with the owner, and we are just told, this is how I found out. So the owner of the barbecue place is who we found out from. The owner of the building is who had sex with the mom.
So the owner of the barbecue place spilled the tea, as the kids say.
Spilled the sweet iced tea.
Sweet tea. There you go. That was good, Emily. That was almost a whole joke.
It was almost a joke. And then you punched it up. We need to remove a word. Iced was too many words.
Yeah, it's just sweet tea. No one drinks hot sweet tea. Oh, I guess they do. I guess it's just tea.
It's just tea.
First of all, because I have a lot to say.
No, I want to. This is really hard. And please keep in mind during this, our question asker is 18. So this isn't like two 40-year-olds.
Yeah, listen to me. First of all, this is why we have a podcast. Because people are swerving their cars right now into oncoming traffic listening to this. First of all, your boyfriend is immature. He's 20 years old, so there's that. The fact that he has no culpability, and it's always like, I don't have a dad. If you are intelligent enough to know that your behavior is bad and to blame it on someone consistently, then you know that you are making poor choices. Like, he is aware. This isn't like he's like, no, my parents were good. And you're like, no, they did something really messed up to you, okay? He's immature. And this also will spill into other mistakes he will make. A lot of men grow up without father figures and they take that and they're like, so I'm going to be better. My dad wasn't around, so I will be around for my child. My dad wasn't a good dad to my mom, so I will be a better man in that relationship. He's delaying that acceptance and he's using it as a crutch, okay? That's number one. And you don't need to be babysitting this guy, okay? I get that he's 20 and he's hot and you're 18 and you're super horny and you're sharting on couches, but listen.
No,
you want to share.
This is not
I know it's difficult. Okay. I know. You want to share this because the mom is a bitch. So you kind of want to be like, see, actually, you've been a bitch to me this whole time. Well, now I'm going to blow up your spot. This is too much for you. And when I say it's too much for you, it's too much for you in having to shoulder his shitty reactions to his parents. It's too stressful to have to endure watching some kid be rude to their parents. It's stressful. Even when you go to your friend's house and they're rude to their mom, you're just like, oh, I don't like being here. And at 18, you do not need the pressure of some chemically imbalanced lunatic getting mad when you come over, getting mad when you don't come over. This is way too much for you. Okay? And it isn't as if your boyfriend's the kind of guy that's like, you're right. Like, let's move together. Like, I just want to be with you. You are playing the role of a wife. And this is not hot. And this is not sexy. And when I tell you that it's too much for you to bear, this would be different. I don't know if like you were married and you found out something about the best friend and you're like, I don't know. I don't blow the situation. I would say to tell him what you know so he can do his own digging, just so you unburden yourself. Don't throw it down at the mom like an Uno card and be like, gotcha. But you don't need this fucking drama for a guy you're not even married to. Ugh.
I would actually, look, we're saying the dad's great is the word, right? Like, he's a good guy.
You don't know that.
She's saying he's sweet.
Regular dad.
There's a reason that he hasn't told. I would go to the dad and be like, look, I know you have your reasons for not telling him, but it's getting around town. It's the hot talk of our favorite barbecue joint. You should probably talk to him before he hears it from the rib man.
That's a great idea. That's one way to do it. But either way, or you say to your boyfriend, like, you should go talk to this person because I heard something that I'm not comfortable sharing. You know, like, the point is you want to be there for your boyfriend, but he has a lot of junk he needs to work out. And that's great that you want to be there for him. I will also say at 18 years old, I do love that you wrote in and it's not your fault, your lack of understanding of like the scope of life in terms of interpersonal relationships in a marriage, why people cheat, what went on then. You're not a part of this family. You don't need to be ensconced in all of this. And it is always easy, by the way, to blame the mom, right? The mom cheated. You don't know. You were not there. You don't know what the dad was like. You don't know if the dad also cheated and the mom did it back. But one thing is for
Maybe
damn
it was
sure.
a threesome.
Let's hope. Women always have to emotionally like field everyone. We are harsher as women on women.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like on the side of this dad who like seems pretty great. Meanwhile, the dad's like not really even around. He texts and stuff, but you're spending more time with the woman. And now you are the woman kind of taking away like her son. Like, it's just very sticky. And you don't have the whole story. And it's actually not your place to judge because you are merely an interloper. You are not part of the family. And the son has no fucking backbone. So try not to judge, try not to get involved. And honestly, I would give that information and then I would talk to the son, like once he's gotten it and just be like, what you don't want to do is be fielding his emotional issues. Like, you can have a shitty dad and be a good person. And to give that excuse over and over, it's not like I don't know how to tie a tie. I never had a dad. It's like, well, get a YouTube tutorial. I don't like this guy for you.
I don't either. Go out with the dad.
There you go. The ultimate revenge. Cheat on him with the dad and be like, this is what cheating looks like. Now you know. No, don't do that.
No.
That's gross.
No.
It's borderline illegal.
But thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your patronage.
A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
Everybody sleeps, but no two people sleep alike. At Coop Sleep Goods, we celebrate the way you sleep differently. We believe everyone deserves a great night's sleep with their own pillow, and the adjustable, customizable Coop pillow makes it easy. Whether you're a side sleeper, back sleeper, or even a starfish, we've got the perfect pillow for you. Crafted with our innovative memory foam and microfiber fill, our hypoallergenic pillows adjust to you, not the other way around. Just tailor the fill for the perfect fit. Add some in, take some out, until your pillow's just right for you. See why luxury hotels and spas worldwide feature Coop Sleep Goods and why we have tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. With our 100-night risk-free trial, you've got nothing to lose, except those sleepless nights. Get up to 50% off selected items during our Black Friday Cyber Monday sale when you visit coopsleepgoods.com/comedy. That's COOP sleepgoods.com/comedy.
Sometimes an email subject line gets me. Sometimes I look through all the emails, but sometimes a subject line really catches my eye. And would it surprise you to know that this one did, which is just stinky office mate. Immediately I see that and I go, yeah.
I honestly thought it was just going to say cats.
No,
Times
something
3,
like
Dr. Pepper spilled in my backseat. Okay.
Stinky.
Yeah,
I don't
stinky.
drink Dr. Pepper.
But you would if I gave you one.
No. I maybe if there was nothing else, or you were like, I got you this, I would drink it to be polite. Hey, Liza and Emily. I'm not sure if this has been asked before, but here goes. I highly doubt the person I'm asking about listens to this podcast, but just in case, I'll remain anonymous, please. I, 37 female, work at a hospital, research admin, not a nurse, and have 2 coworkers, 41 female and 61 female in the same department, so we are a very small group. Last year, one of our physicians hired an employee, let's call him A, 40-ish-year-old male, to work for him. The physician asked if A could use our office when he works on site and the other days he works at home. We have 5 extra computers available because our group used to be bigger, so we said yes. He comes in 2 to 3 times a week. As soon as he started working, we noticed that he had brutal BO and bad breath. So bad that right as you walk in the office, you can smell him. I get the worst of it because my desk is right as you come in and he's set up in the small office directly beside me and always has the door open.
This is a hospital. It's supposed to be a sterile environment.
When he has Teams meetings, he closes the door for them. And once he's done and opens it again, the smell just wafts right toward me. My coworkers and I have talked about together how to broach the subject with him or if we should just leave it. For a bit of background, he's father to an 18-month-old and his wife is due any day with their second. He's also going on paternity leave for 6 weeks starting early August. My question is, do we bring this up to him? Do we wait until he's back from paternity leave? Your insight is greatly appreciated. Thanks so much. And hello from Ottawa, Canada, Jay.
Jay, I think you need to bring this up with the physician who hired him. Because this person is above you anyway on the food chain. And I think you all need to go to this physician and be like, this is hurting the biosphere of this office. And so say to the physician, like, we don't know if you need to bring in HR or whatever. Like, we don't want to hurt this guy's feelings. It is so funny how body odor is such a touchy subject because as humans, we really don't want to hurt anybody. But it is so offensive.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There was a clear agent in Seattle who had the worst body odor. I've smelled at an airport in a long time. And he was hovering over me and he was like chirping at me.
Ooh.
I was like, I'm trying to do clear. And he was like, no, that's not going to work. Your image isn't going to work. Your boarding pass, it's because it's a screen grab of a boarding pass. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And it was just, I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't need this input. He was like heckling me. He smelled so bad. He was so rude.
Yeah.
It was just awful. Having someone stinky heckle you while you're trying to just like get through security because joke's on us, in 9/11, the terrorists actually did win. Just trying to take off my shoes and get on the plane.
Can I tell you, though, how relieved I was as we're reading through and we're like, okay, 40-year-old coworker, 6-year-old coworker, female. I'm like, oh, no. And then it said a new guy. I was like, thank God, because it somehow feels less cruel to tell a guy they stink than to tell a woman. Is that just because I'm also a woman?
No. It's because in general, we don't feel as bad about making men feel bad. And that's only the retribution.
You smell because you're manly.
No, it's the retribution. It's the effect of the cause of how men have always made women feel bad. So we're like, you stink, your feelings don't count because our feelings are so rarely counted.
I also will just say that I think you can wait now if he's in early August.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay, yeah. When he comes back, if he still smells, go to his boss. Don't you talk to him, go to his boss.
He will still smell. I think you go to the boss now. That way you have a precedent set. That way when he does come back, you're like, we need to nip this in the bud now.
Okay. So go to the boss and be like, look, we're hoping that it's just a stress thing. And when he comes back, it'll be better. But it is actually creating a really difficult, toxic working environment.
It is so weird.
Have
people
him
don't really smell.
Is there a way to get him to come in on a day that the guy's there so he can smell it?
There you go. Have him smell it. But your boss needs to fix this.
Yeah.
It's always a tough one. I also put cologne up there. Like people they go nose blind to their cologne. And it sears the inside of your nasal cavity. Yeah, people just are unaware in general.
They really are.
Anyway, that's what I would do. Make it someone else's problem.
Well, because I was just at Comic-Con. I don't want to generalize. I go to so many conventions, but there are some smells. There are some smells. People are sleeping outside in line, some smells. So I'd sometimes be at the booth and someone would walk by and a smell would come.
Oh, God, especially.
And a smell would stay. And so I'd be like smelling myself like, that's not me, right? Okay, no. But I kept checking.
It's also weird. It's like a basic, not so much requirement, but it's a basic thing built into us living in society that you're aware of yourself in relation to others.
Yeah.
Like intelligent people are like, do I smell?
Yeah.
Like I can smell myself and be like, that smells bad. And the fact that people can't, I think it's a lack of intelligence. Or you're so preoccupied with something else, or maybe you're overloaded with something else. Don't write in and be like, when I had my newborn, I smelled and I didn't realize it because I was busy nursing. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, 100%.
And the fact that you didn't know you smelled means that you know you smelled now. So you did know and you were busy. Okay.
My dream nice Jewish boy, but he's Republican? ? Hey, Liza and Emily. My question is about politics, being Jewish, and finding my person. Eesh. I'm 36 female and have been struggling to date in LA for many years and have had my heart absolutely destroyed several times. I froze my eggs a couple of months ago to give me more time to find my guy. It was so hard and lonely. So when I met a super cute, smart, gorgeous Jewish boy, 33, great job, shit together, who wants to get married and have kids, while on a recent trip to Atlanta, I figured I'd give it a go. It's been a couple of months and we've already visited each other in both cities and have plans for more visits all summer, including a road trip to Florida to meet his family. He met my dad, who loved him, never happens, and I met some of his family that live in LA. The issue: he's from a big Jewish family in Orlando. I'm an only child and lost my mom out of nowhere last summer, and having that much family around is something I've always dreamed of. But as I'm sure you may have guessed by now, it's come to my attention that his family and are Republicans, and he himself seems to align there as well. They aren't MAGA morons by any means, and he admittedly hates both candidates, but his family and him, I'm sure, will vote red. We've had several conversations about our differing beliefs and how I find fiscal conservatives to be almost worse than MAGA idiots because they know better. Those conversations end up with me crying and acting totally unhinged, and him telling me he loves me and had no issue being with someone that has a different political affiliation than he does.
And him calling me a snowflake for crying.
As long as we keep talking through things and promising to always hear the other out. I'm worried I won't be able to handle this long term and my emotions will make me spiral and that my mom is rolling over in her grave. She was literally the biggest Trump hater ever, and my dad is no different. Most of his opinions stem from wanting his family protected from anti-Semitism. He grew up being bullied horribly for being Jewish and just keeps repeating that we had different upbringings. I was raised in the liberal bubble of Manhattan and never once have experienced any kind of anti-Semitism. That being said, I love being Jewish, and when we met, we immediately bonded over our support of Israel. We both lost friends after October 7th, and so I'm hoping this will keep us united.
Really?
Not
Jesus.
like dead, but like they stopped talking to them.
Oh.
Oh,
okay. Okay.
I'm positive. Write in if they're dead, and I'm sorry I keep saying dead if they are, but I'm pretty sure you just lost friends because you posted about it.
Yeah, sure.
It felt kind of like us against the world in that sense. Like we have been living in a twilight zone of brainwashed liberals and kafifas. He also
Kefias.
There's a lot of F's in there.
She wrote it wrong.
He also treats me like a queen. I've never felt so loved. So it's wild to me this love is coming from someone who I've essentially demonized over the last 8 years. The right. My question is, how do you navigate being in a relationship with someone like this? How do I act around his family when I meet them in a few weeks? Is being Jewish and wanting the same things in life enough to keep this going? I hate how black and white it all feels. I really do love him, and I'm terrified of eventually resenting him. I feel like being Jewish and from a red state, you will have insight to the situation, but maybe you draw the line at having the conservative person being your actual partner and not just family. He says he's pro-choice and pro-science, but I guess being pro-money trumps all that, pun intended. Do I wait and let the election play out and see what happens? 20 years ago, a Republican and Democrat could be together, but these days it feels like we may as well be different species. Love you and Emily, and your post in support of Jews has been a beacon of sanity in my life the last 9 months. Thank you, Z.
Being the same religion is never a reason to get married to someone. Wanting the same things in life is never the reason to get married. The reason you get married is because you deeply love this person and you want the same things in life. It's all of these things. Does it make it easier if you come from a similar religious background? Yes, in that you have a cultural reference, but growing up Jewish in Manhattan versus, he's from Florida. There's a lot of Jews there and it's a red state, but still, your context is just different. My husband is barely half Jewish, not even. The Jewish part describes themselves as secular humanists.
And is there anyone less conservative than Noah?
Literally no one. Like maybe someone running like a kombucha tasting station at a farmer's market. But he and I are so similar and yet have incredibly different upbringings. And especially when you're Jewish and not from a place where Judaism is normalized, it's just different. And people who are from those bubbles, they're just, they're like, we thought there was two religions, like Jewish and not Jewish. Like you have that privilege of that. It doesn't matter who his family votes for because Florida is going to be a state for Trump. And you can't go around policing. I don't want to vote for Donald Trump. He is really, really bad for all of the things that I stand for, despite the fact that those things don't stand for me. Gay rights, trans rights. I really put the planet over everyone, and he's definitely not for that. But I think it's a little liberal snowflakey to be like, I need to make sure that you guys are all voting the way that I vote, and it needs to make me comfortable. You don't know. I think there's a difference between conservative, socially, and fiscally conservative. There's different metrics here. And you can't even talk about these things without people being like, so you're voting for Donald Trump? It's none of your business who his parents vote for. And this guy, I don't know what his portfolio is. I don't know how he grew up. The goal is, and this is what we're missing in this country, to keep having these conversations. And because we live somewhere like the United States of America, your state is going to have a lot of power over your choices. And, I wouldn't recommend getting pregnant and living somewhere like Florida. God forbid something goes wrong.
Well, I think he's in Atlanta and his family's in Florida. Or met in Atlanta. Georgia, Emily. It's so much better. I'm just saying, continue to have these discussions. Yeah. And it's great that you stand up for all of these causes, and I believe in all of that stuff. It probably will not impact your day-to-day, just given what you've said, being a heterosexual person. I think the things that we're worried about with Donald Trump is that, like, your gay friends are going to wake up tomorrow and their marriages will all be, like, nullified. I do think we have gotten to a place with liberals where, like, you are not even allowed to have a conversation. And I think that's the greatest mistake that liberals have made these past few years, is being fascist, in that it's like, you cannot say the word wrong. You cannot say these pronouns wrong. You have to understand all of this and everything that we're saying at all turns, and it leaves no room for a conversation. And so the right comes back just as hard with, well, we're going to fall in line and get this lunatic elected. I know that all of this sounds crazy, but like, I think you are exemplifying a part of the problem with a lot of liberal thinking, which is, if you don't think like me, then you're a fascist and you're part of the problem. But that in and of itself is also part of the problem. I would say, I think it's very interesting that the question asker called out that 20 years ago, this wouldn't have been an issue because it wouldn't have been. It just wouldn't have been. Somebody voting for Bush or Clinton are not going to despise each other. But I will say,
hold on, wait, but you can't compare those. We didn't have sexuality being understood as a spectrum.
Right, I'm saying,
we didn't have trans rights on the bill. So
right, the gulf has gotten bigger and bigger. But I will say for me personally, not the question asker, I could not marry someone who was voting for Trump. I don't care what their reasons are. I couldn't do it. It just that to me is so disgusting to put their name down. And I know we've had people write in, look, Iliza, you are much more level-headed. You see both sides more. We've had listeners that write in and be like, you were mean to Trump. It's like, okay, I don't know how I could be mean to Trump, but this would be a deal breaker for me. And I understand why it's hard for this person, but it sounds like they really want to make it work. This is a really tough question.
Well, I'm sorry, but like, if you love this person, in 8 years, if we still have a planet, like, it's not that this won't have mattered, but this is a drop in the bucket of your life. And it would be one thing if he was at Trump rallies. It'd be one thing if he was like, look, God created Adam and Eve, man and woman. Abortion is something only slutty girls do. Like, it would be different. He is voting for fiscal reasons, which is still, I mean, a lot of us are like, that's so short-sighted. It's so selfish. What about the planet? It's wrong. But we have to live in a world where you can agree to disagree. And all you can do is vote Kamala and get your friends to vote for that.
That's why I'm saying I could be friends with him. I couldn't marry him, but that's me personally.
Yeah, but she already loved him.
But she's asking the question.
And I'm saying then you don't love him. And you would feel the same way. You would be gutted if it were reversed. And you're like, I know I'm picking the right candidate. And he's like, I don't love you anymore because you're voting for Kamala Harris. You'd be like, well, then you never loved me. Like, you're going to be with this person for 50 years. I just think if you zoom out about what you want in life, I also wonder if part of you is like, it's him because I've been wanting someone. I found this guy. I couldn't find it in LA. And I know that you feel this might be your last shot at all the things you wanted. And the fact that he's voting for Donald Trump, you're like, so maybe it's not him. You are welcome to step away from this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And on November 6th, you can reevaluate if your feelings still burn strong for this person. I don't think all these things are equal. It does not sound like you deeply, passionately love this person and can't imagine your life without them. So ask yourself, are you picking this person because they are right for you? Or are you picking this person because they are right for you right now?
How many times have you hung out? You're across the country. You've said you've visited several times. So have you hung out total 10 times with each other? You know, I think you can keep it kind of not on the back burner, but you don't have to get married right now and you can kind of see what happens.
You can kind of see what happens, but I don't know. I get that it's a huge thing. I get that you see a lot of people performatively like, I blocked this person. I stopped speaking to this person, which is so insane and so part of the problem that you don't ask your friends like, hey, where are you coming from? You know, you don't see a lot of people getting divorced or breaking up their weddings because someone was maybe going to vote for a candidate they don't like. So you will have sacrificed this relationship for what? You're still going to be a single Jewish 36-year-old woman who now voted for Kamala Harris and the guy that you thought you loved didn't. And now what? The world's still going to be what it's going to be. You're putting a lot on this one guy. And it would be different, again, if he was always saying like gays don't matter and black lives certainly don't matter. You'd be, okay, well that's, because those are fundamental view differences. And his are a little bit more nuanced.
His are gays and black don't matter enough for me to vote against my own fiscal interests as far as I'm
That's
concerned.
A totally fair point. But after October 7th, the world definitely said Jews don't matter. So I don't blame certain people for being like, well, I'm not going to vote to protect you. We're all hurting each other. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying like all the cards are on the table now.
Well, and I do understand this thing where she's saying she gets emotional because I have a friend who thinks that the earth is flat.
Oh my God.
And when I was talking to her about it, I started crying because I was so frustrated that I
would cry that this person is allowed to operate a motor vehicle and vote on local issues.
I was just
That's why I'd be crying.
like, no, because they're like, oh, well, if you get too close, you can't take a picture because you get too close to the edge, there are guards. I'm crying like, no, you don't understand. So I understand when you're talking to someone and your viewpoints are so wildly different, just like being so frustrated that you cry. Like, I get that.
You gotta not cry.
I know, but that's,
not cry.
I know. It really kills the argument.
Not even just you, her. Like, as a liberal person, you have to be so firmly rooted in what you believe that truth is.
Yeah.
That you can at least have a civil discourse and at least go toe to toe. And maybe he votes Trump and then he votes liberal on a lot of local things. You don't know, I'm just saying.
But yes.
Definitely not. But I mean, Noah and I definitely don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. And I am a liberal person, but compared to my husband, I come off as
You're
like
a dictator.
Like a Southern Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, there's just some things where I'm like, well, hold on now. I'm very middle of the road. I'm very liberal, but
in the theater.
Compared to Noah, I'm a total autocrat. So, and this will not be the first time your relationship is tested. And hopefully you don't have a relationship where all you talk about is politics. So spend some more time with him and see if this is the guy that you can't live without first.
Yeah. Top of the Cob.
That whole thing was my bottom of my cob. I feel people are like,
I know,
judging me now.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the cob.
My bottom of the cob is I was in downtown Indiana and I was working all day and I was like, I just gotta eat something. And I really didn't feel well because I had food poisoning, which should also be my bottom of the cob. I had food poisoning from an oyster last week. I think it was an oyster. No, it was like, you don't know it was an oyster.
We talked about this on last week's episode, maybe.
Impossible, because it was a pre-recorded episode.
You did this since you left this. You ate something weird then a couple weeks ago.
Can I finish?
I'm sorry.
Can I finish? Sorry. No, it was like, you don't know that was an oyster. I'm like, well, we ate at an oyster farm and everybody was fine except for me. But I would still eat there again. Like, I would go tomorrow. Anyways, the point is, there was like no options in downtown Indianapolis and I just wanted like a salad and everything's like a massive corporate steakhouse or something gritty. And so I found a Potbelly's, that chain.
The sandwiches.
And that Potbelly was my bottom of the cob. The bottom of the cob was I found a place that made soup and I was like, I'll go there. And as I walked in, I saw the employee pull a giant vape away from their mouth and turn around like, oh, hi. And then she put on plastic gloves to make something for me, even though I hadn't ordered. And then she proceeded to like pick up a pen, use the cash register and touch a bunch of stuff. Yeah. And I was like, it's 90 degrees outside. I definitely don't need soup.
Yeah.
Although the guy at Potbelly's did ask me where I'm from and I said LA. And then he was like, Long Beach, huh? And I was like, it's near there. And he asked me if I'd ever met Snoop Dogg.
Have you?
No. But the idea, like, oh, you're from New York. Do you know 50 Cent? All right, that's my bottom of the cob, the vaping soupstress.
Okay, my bottom of the cob. Oh, do you want a heavy one? I guess I'll do a heavy one. So I got a text. I was in a meeting and my dad texted me like, can you talk? And I'm like, let me get out of this meeting. So I got a meeting. I call and he's like, yeah, so we're putting Ladybug to sleep Friday. Can you come over? And when you have that appointment awful. And it's like on your calendar and I'm like, yeah. I tell someone like, can I not come to this meeting? I'm going to go put a dog to sleep. And I blocked off time in my calendar to go over there on Friday. And my dad is like, we tried to do it on the weekend so it'll be easier for you, but they didn't. And I was like, no, like whenever you need to do it, like just the whole conversation, the whole like waiting for it to happen, the whole like, it's a real bottom of the cob.
I'm sorry. That's awful.
Yeah.
Putting a pet to sleep is
it's just
not that I would know. Blanche just died while I was gone, but
aren't you lucky? No,
yeah,
you weren't.
It was a real red letter day.
I know. What a great day. No, it's always horrible. Any version is horrible, but it's just so weird to be able to schedule it, Like,
it's scheduled. And the dog doesn't know.
You're right. So I was like, are you going to get her some good treats? And they're like, I guess. And I was like, why aren't you planning this?
Okay, I don't want
to. Okay. If fan bottom of the cob.
Wait, can I just do another one of my fans before we do, and then just not do the fan one?
Do another one of your fans?
Of my bottom.
Of your bottoms. Okay, yes.
I'm going to do a double bottom.
You're going to do a double bottom. You're stealing from a worthy fan.
That's fine. I had my travel bag. It's this like Tumi roller bag. And I had a Kind bar in there that has to be at least a year old. And I, just because I never know what's going to, I always have like something in my bag just in case you're stuck somewhere, which never really happens, but whatever. And I took out everything from my bag. And at some point, the Kind bar had fallen out onto my bed. And I don't know how it happened, but the wrapper was open. And when I looked over, Tianfu had been licking her paws. So there was a wet spot on the bed. And I was like, oh no, did she open this Kind bar? It's like dark
did she
chocolate.
Get a bite?
And I didn't think she had, but then when I went for her, she ran away and hid under the bed like they do when they're like guilty.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at this wrapper and I'm trying to like forensically assess, like, was this ripped? Was it torn? Did it crack open because it's old? That's such a small amount for a dog to eat. And I'm trying to get her and she's in the middle under the bed. So she knows you can't get to her because I want to like look at her mouth.
Yeah.
And I'm Googling about dark chocolate. I'm like, was it enough? And I'm trying to like get into the mind of a dog. I'm like, but why would you eat so little if you did eat it? I also would have heard her. I think she was just licking her paws. So we've all had this as a pet owner where it was one of those sleeps where I kept waking up every like 45 minutes to shake her awake to make sure she hadn't died.
Yeah.
In the end, I think it just was broken in my bag. Of my bottle.
Right.
Speaking of dead dogs, all right. But top of the cup.
Top of the cup, something nice.
This weekend was the first weekend where I finally felt like I had my body back.
Like post
from having the baby.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This whole time I've been like rushing this and everyone's like, you just had a baby. And I'm like, oh, that's just something you're trained to say. But in reality, society's like, you had your baby. Like, why are you fat?
Had it together.
And I am totally brainwashed by it. But moreover, I want to wear my clothes. I want to feel good about it. And there's nothing wrong with attaching some self-worth to the way that your body feels, especially if your body's always felt pretty good. And I remember when I had Sierra working out. And then one day it was just like, because Pilates will do that. Like one day it's just like everything just sucks in. And it happened. I brought a pair of jeans to wear to the gig and I tried them on and they finally fit. And I was like, they're a little tight in the thigh, but I was like, we're back. And I finally felt like my old self in the body. And that was nice to know that like, oh, it was going to happen. You just had to wait a beat.
Not in the mind.
Not in the mind.
My top of the cob is kind of the listeners. I think two things happened last week. One being we had that question about the gift wrap. I love that the question asker was very honest with us and really told the true story. And we got the truck. The response to that from listeners was very like, I think appreciative of the honesty and like, I've been there and like, you know, that they felt for this person. And also that now that we're doing these clips, we're getting even more listener engagement. We're getting more comments. We're getting people talking about what they think about the questions that have been written in, which is just really fun to see people engaging more and responding more to what we're talking about. So that was nice. And the fan top of the cob, I thought this was really actually brilliant. My top of the cob is when I get my laundry done and put away by Sunday night. It keeps my room much tidier, and Monday morning me appreciates the hell out of weekend me for taking care of this small task. Makes finding and picking outfits so much easier and starts my week out on a great foot. Love you both. Can't wait to see Iliza in Detroit. From Tori.
Very much looking forward to that show, Tori. I know the feeling when you're like, thanks, me.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I have laundry that I need to go get out of the washer because we let it build up in a big pile in the closet.
I
gotta go wash it. Folks, I'm going to be in Eugene, Oregon and Bend, Oregon this weekend. Tickets at iliza.com/tour. We're also filming my new Amazon Hour special in Salt Lake City, and we've added a second show, so get your tickets to coming out and see me in Utah. I know we have a lot of Utah listeners, so I will see you then. The rest of the tour is at iliza.com/tour, and just in case the music's playing me off, we have all new merch, and that merch has dropped. So go to eliza.com, I think it's /store, for all the hot new Get Ready Tour merch. And until then, remember, it was all your fault.
Here we go.